What if I told you that New York City, the concrete jungle we call home, is under silent attack? Beneath the towering skyscrapers and within our cherished parks, invaders are lurking. Not human invaders, but species so destructive they could reshape the very fabric of our ecosystems. Are we too late to stop them? Before we dive into the specifics, let's understand what we're dealing with. Invasive species are non-native organisms introduced intentionally or accidentally into new environments. Without natural predators to keep them in check, they spread like wildfire, often outcompeting native species and wreaking havoc on ecosystems. In New York City, the consequences are devastating. But what makes New York especially vulnerable? The answer lies in its diversity. A global hub for trade, travel, and people, the city inadvertently opens its doors to hitchhiking invaders from around the world. Let's uncover the most notorious ones. Prepare to meet the invaders threatening New York's future. First on our list is the Asian longhorned beetle, a small but deadly insect. With its glossy black body and striking white spots, it might look harmless. But don't be fooled. This beetle burrows into hardwood trees like maple, birch, and elm, causing irreversible damage. Once infested, a tree is as good as dead. Since its discovery in New York, millions of dollars have been spent removing infested trees to prevent further spread. But the battle is far from over. Next up is the spotted lanternfly, an insect as beautiful as it is destructive. This colorful invader targets over 70 plant species, including grapes and fruit trees. In NYC, it's a growing threat to urban greenery and even vineyards upstate. What makes them so dangerous? They're hitchhikers, laying their eggs on cars, trains, and outdoor equipment. The city's hustle and bustle only accelerates their spread. Then there's the emerald ash borer, a beetle with a shimmering green body. Don't let its beauty fool you. This invader is a cold-blooded killer, targeting ash trees. Within a few years of infestation, entire neighborhoods can lose their tree canopies, turning green spaces into desolate landscapes. And what about the monster of New York's waterways? Meet the northern snakehead fish, a predator that doesn't belong here. This fish can breathe air and even survive on land for short periods. It outcompetes native fish species and threatens the balance of aquatic ecosystems. No invasive species list would be complete without the infamous Norway rat. These resilient rodents thrive in the city's underground networks, trash piles, and residential areas. Their adaptability allows them to survive in almost any environment, making them one of the most challenging invasive species to control. But their impact is far more than a nuisance. Norway rats spread diseases like leptospirosis and salmonellosis, posing severe public health risks. They contaminate food supplies by gnawing through packaging and leaving behind droppings. Their burrowing habits damage infrastructure, weakening sidewalks and building foundations, costing the city millions in annual repairs. Adding to the challenge is their rapid breeding. Populations can skyrocket within weeks if left unchecked. Addressing the Norway rat issue is critical not only for public health but also for the stability and safety of New York City's infrastructure. Don't let the elegance of the mute swan fool you. These ornamental birds, introduced for their beauty, are highly aggressive. They displace native waterfowl, often dominating prime nesting areas and forcing other species to relocate or perish. Their voracious appetite for aquatic vegetation destroys the habitats of fish and amphibians, further destabilizing wetland ecosystems. The long-term impact of mute swans extends beyond competition. Their activities lead to erosion and a decline in water quality, harming entire aquatic food chains. Why should you care? Invasive species don't just harm wildlife. They reshape ecosystems, devastate biodiversity, and even impact our economy. NYC spends millions every year fighting these invaders, money that could be used for schools, housing, or infrastructure. But the damage goes deeper. Imagine a world where the towering trees of Central Park are replaced by barren landscapes. That's the future we're fighting to prevent. Fortunately, all hope is not lost. NYC's Parks Department, environmental groups, and everyday citizens are taking action. From monitoring invasive species to removing them manually, efforts are underway to protect our city's wild spaces. New York City's strength has always been its resilience. But even the strongest cities can't survive without their roots. The battle against invasive species isn't just a fight for wildlife. It's a fight for the soul of our city. Will you join us?